Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a Pokemon that I was quite excited about. It's going to be Cramorant. We're going to not use the recommended moveset. The recommended moveset is Fly and Surf, because Surf is quite a bit stronger than Dive. But Surf is also more expensive than Dive. And I don't like this and I don't want this. And so I decided to go for Dive instead, which was absolutely the right decision. Dive, with the pacing that you have, thanks to Peck as well as a very fantastic fast move for this Pokemon, is going to allow you to get there quite a bit faster than most other Pokemon. As you're going to see there as well, we have here the form change Pokemon. Cramorant being able to spit out a fish, being able to drop the opponent's defense with that, but also being able to now do so much more damage against the Tinkaton, basically knocking it out. In comes the Kingdra, and we have now the Pikachu in the mouth. Basically, if you didn't know what this Pokemon does, it is a very interesting Pokemon, to be fair. It is going to be able to have form changes that are only happening if you use Dive or Surf. What happens there is it's either going to get the Barraskewda or whatever it's called in its mouth, which is going to be when you're, I think, above 50%, and I think if you're below 50%, you're going to get a Pikachu in your mouth. The difference in those are, I think, mainly that one is going to give you the opponent an attack drop, and the other one is going to give it a defense drop. The Barraskewda, I think, the defense drop, the Pikachu is the attack drop to the opponent. Whatever you feel like is more worth it, you can't really decide it anyway, because it's whatever you're going to get, you're going to throw it in. But they're also going to do some damage, and we won the first battle here quite easily, which is kind of cool, which also makes it very tough, especially in like neutral matchups like this one, for other Pokemon to win against Cramorant. Like most of the times, you're at least going to get a draw. And that's honestly huge, because then you're going to be able to kind of force alignment a lot of times. Because what I can do now is I can just use another shield, and if they would shield again, I would peck them down to the point where I think the fish would be enough to knock them out afterwards. But they actually don't let the move go, which allows me to now farm them down. I still have the fish in my mouth, and I can go for the fly now against the opponent's Licky Licky. And this is the thing as well. And this is why Cramorant is actually really cool, is because Fly is your secondary charge move, unlike any of the other water and flying type Pokemon, other than I guess Swanna. But Swanna doesn't have Peck. Peck is really important for this Pokemon. You're just going to have great pacing with a very hard hitting secondary charge move that's also Stab. And this makes Cramorant not like a one-trick pony of having like Dive and trying to hit the opponents with a fish or with a Pikachu. No, you're actually having a bit more play with this Pokemon, as you are going to be able to, go ahead and do a lot of like immediate pressure as well, thanks to Fly as a coverage move. And so that's kind of what I want to highlight here as well, is on how good this Pokemon actually is because of what it can do with the tools that you basically have available for yourself. And again, like Surf is also a valid secondary charge move there as well for yourself, but I do feel like Dive and Fly make the most amount of sense on this Pokemon. And although, by the way, for this team, we're also going to use another form change Pokemon, as we are forced to play the normal Great League now, basically the new system. I have to say, I really barely played in the last 1.5 months the game at all, like in terms of PvP, and I do think that the new system got changed quite a bit to the better, in my opinion. Like, I had way less lag than prior, but it's still not perfect. I lost quite a few games to over tapping basically in certain scenarios where it doesn't happen all the time, but like sometimes you just can't throw your charge move in time, like it just goes for an extra fast move, and that completely screws up your pacing basically, and this happened multiple times to me. But basically I still felt like it was quite a bit better than what we've seen prior. But the thing is, well, I'm currently trying to still hit Legend. I'm very close to hitting Legend, and I'm playing Cramorant, and I lost a few battles because of that. And like that was kind of unfortunate, because I definitely would have hit Legend easily, at least here. But maybe I still gonna hit Legend in this video, we have to see, because we're actually really close to that. All those battles here are around 2900, 2950 elo range. Yeah, I am still expert, I'm still on Legend. I only have like 600 battles done this season, most of them were in the first month. So I still have quite a bit to go, as we will see here the Ice Wind coming in from Thievel. By the way, Thievel is actually such a good matchup. Thanks to the Fish here coming up directly after the Ice Wind. Basically, the Ice Wind drop doesn't matter because the defense drop onto the opponent helps you out. And you actually reach the Fly in time with your Cramorant, which means you get a shield and a switch advantage here at the same time. We have now Mimikyu and the Mantine. This is kind of the ideal matchup. Mantine is a bit difficult for this team to deal with. I encountered Mantine basically nearly every single team. Like, Mantine is really everywhere. It's a very good Pokemon though, like I fully understand it. And there, we're gonna win this battle. The opponent forfeits, so we can move on to the next opponent. Annihilate, but try to go for the dive first, because now I would be able to just throw a fish at them, I assume. Like, they're mostly just gonna knock themselves out here, and that's what I'm gonna take. Thank you very much. Rage Fist comes in, Rage Fist goes through, Fish goes against the, Annihilate, Annihilate goes down. In comes Morpeko. I should have maybe stopped out of here, but I just want to kind of get another little bit of damage in here with another dive. We're actually going to get the shield, which is cool, and we can just go into the Diggersby, which now allows us to have perfect alignment. In comes the Quagsire. I can catch the move. Not too sure if this was necessary by any kind of means, but yeah, in comes now the Aquatail. We just let move go through. I kind of want to keep the shields for my Diggersby mainly, because I have good fast move pressure. I still have the Scorching Sand, and my Mimikyu is mainly here for this specific matchup. I still kind of have to shield now though, because I didn't think that they would get to the moves that fast. Should went for the play off earlier. Now they're going to go into their Morpeko, which now forces me to go for the play off, because I kind of don't want to waste all my energy here. I still didn't even get the move through, even though we CMP tied, so that was fantastic here. As the player off is coming in now, allowing me now to go into my Diggersby. I do feel like a lot of times you just don't see the energy coming up in time still in this kind of version. They do a lot of damage against me. It's a CMP tie now this time around. We can knock out the Morpeko, but in the back it's going to be still the Quagsire, which is going to work out quite well. In comes here the Aquatail. We're gonna still survive that, and with that they forfeit the battle. So Gaston up against us next is going to be fantastic. Gaston is going to be a Pokemon that we can definitely kind of deal with our Cramorant. But in comes now the Fearow, which I don't really like with this team. They don't have the greatest answers, but as they let the Fly go through, we're going to do a lot of damage here with that, which is kind of fantastic. As you're going to see here now, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down. In comes the Gastrodon. We're going to be able to go ahead and get the Scorching Sand up against them. We're just going to try to kind of weaken them a bit. They're forced to go for something like either the Earth Power or the Water Pulse in order to knock out our very strong Diggersby. Water Pulse is coming in, and we can go into our Cramorant now, which is going to be able to go for the dive soon. And of course, dive would allow us to hit them with a fish again. But in comes the Body Slam now from the opponent. I can overfarm by a little bit. Dive is now definitely going to knock them out. And if they want to go for a shield, they're going to get knocked out by the fish. Or now, in this case, actually Pikachu, because we're under half HP. But the issue is now, they're going to have the 2 cannon. But as we see, they're going to use a shield here early, and we have Mimikyu. Mimikyu is a really bad matchup for us, like basically, because we don't do any fast move pressure, and we're forced to hit them with a play rough. But the thing is, they're actually going to be forced to hit us with 4 charge moves in order to knock us out. And we're gonna get to 2 charge moves before that. Why 4 charge moves? Because we still have the Mimikyu in its normal form and not the busted form. And with this, we're gonna be able to just go for the player off, safely knock them out, win the battle. Fantastic. Fantastic lead for ourselves. But we stopped out a little bit too late. Could have went for a dive first, and then just they would have got hit by a fish and got the defense drop and everything, which would have been cool. We're just gonna end up here with a ton of energy, which is grand, because now I can just take the Body Slam here. I have now the option to get a ton of energy with my Diggersby, which is then again as well going to be fine against the Gourgeist, as Gourgeist is going to have the weakness to fire, and I'm now going to... Oh, they're actually going to get there a bit faster than I thought. I thought I would have had a bit more time to still get another move off. I sure went for 2 fast moves first before going for the Fire Punch, which I can do, of course, now. But I can now use this as an opportunity to swap out into the Cramorant, get the KO here with a Fly. If they shield, that's actually better for me. I would like them to shield, but they don't shield because I would have been able to go for the dive. But in comes again the Licky. I can now go for the dive here at least, and they're forced to go for something like a Body Slam in order to knock me out. But of course, we're going to have the Pikachu now. I want to see the Pikachu land. Let's take a look at this one. They're going to go for that charge move, but we're going to get them super low. But I made a big mistake by going to the Mimikyu. I don't know why I did this. I thought I could just farm them down, but I can't. And yeah, they get to another move. But in the back, it's going to be Carbink. And while I'm low on this Pokemon here, while the opponent got a bit of energy in the beginning as well, I am in a very good position because we do super effective damage. We generate energy faster than the opponent. We resist the fast move. They don't do a lot of damage there. I can shield up any move here still, and they're forced to take a Rock Slide, generally speaking. Yeah, as you can see, there is here they're likely to stop again. We have a ton of energy. They try to catch the move that worked out quite well for us, but yeah, as you're gonna see, we're going to have the Gaston coming in. We're going to try to go for a fly there as well. This charge move is coming through, and we're gonna get the shield here at least. DSP is gonna have nice fast move pressure. That's why I like the Cricket Tech version a little bit more. This is going to be okay for me. There's going to be the Drill Pick coming in, and we're just going to be able to go ahead and go for a Fire Punch. This is going to do some solid damage against the opponent, and we're just going to try our best to go for the full farm down here, as they're still not going to knock me out. I should be able to reach my Fire Punch on time, but could swap out, of course, here as well if they wanted to. They do into the Gastrodon, but I don't think they should have got the fast move. I know maybe they should have got the fast move through there. That was actually correct. But I try to go for the dive. It doesn't work out because the opponent gets the move fast. But I can now hopefully go for the fly instead, which is going to do quite a bit more damage. But it turns out I actually didn't know that the opponent had one free fast move somewhere. And I should have just went for my move a bit earlier. But now I have at least 2 charge moves stored. The fly is easily going to be enough to knock out the Gaston. And this is why like Cramorant is so strong. You actually have the option to do so much damage with this Pokemon. In comes 2 Cannon. And here's the issue, I don't have really the option to do anything here, and I should have swapped out into my Mimikyu immediately, I think, because I gave them just some free energy. I swap out into my Diggersby, I give them more free energy, and if I just went straight into my Mimikyu, I think I would have won this battle. And I just misplayed this one here, definitely. I still need to go for 3 charge moves. I thought that they would overfarm anyway. Could just went for the player if they would have knocked them out before they got any move off. And so, like, yeah, I could have won this battle easily in multiple different ways, but I kind of screwed myself over there at the end. Should have played a bit better. But as you can see, we are going to be able to now go ahead and, yeah, move on to the next opponent. We are going to see here now the dive coming through. Gonna get the fish again into the Cramorant, as we saw already prior. We are going to have here now the Ice Wind coming through, getting the fish up against them, and we're still going to be able to reach the fly in time, in which they're going to catch down the Mantine, which I'm honestly totally okay with, because it's just kind of weakens them up for the Mimikyu matchup. I think it's now going to be in a range where 1 Play Rough and the Shadow Claws are going to be enough. Of course, they are going to always try to go for the Twister in order to break my disguise early, but this is fine. Yeah, we have the defense drop now. I can overfarm. We're going to go for 6, but they're actually going to go for another Twister, which is going to be a double resisted non-step move. They actually did way more damage than I expected, thanks to the drop, I guess, of our defense. And they're also catching the move on the Thievel, which is even worse because we're not going to be able to knock them out. I can't knock them out here either with this Pokemon. I'm going to go for the full farm with my Diggersby. But as we're going to see, the Icy Wind is going to still coming through, which is just not ideal. And now we are in a bit of a tough spot. In comes the Ninetales. I have Scorching Sense here at least, but we are debuffed, so we don't do as much damage. The Scorching Sense is coming through. Getting the drop onto them is kind of cool, but it doesn't really matter at all, to be fair, because it's just going to most likely shield here, swap out or something like this. But even here, they're just going to knock me out anyway with any kind of move they want to go for. Scorching Sense, as far as I know, just drops the attack, and like it doesn't matter here because it's just going to knock me out no matter what move they want to go for anyway, even with the debuff. We are just too low. But in comes now the Mantine. We can knock them out again with our Mimikyu. And Mimikyu was actually such a good Pokemon. We're gonna knock them out here, and we can just go for the full farm on against the Ninetales. I don't know why not more people are running Mimikyu right now in this meta, because it's the only meta way you can actually use it. Okay, next up we're gonna have a fantastic lead for ourselves, but also Mantine. And again, Mantine is a bit of a trickier Pokemon for us to deal with, so I kind of want to weaken them up before I do anything else. I'm gonna go for the fly now. Cramorant matchup itself is not that bad, and I don't even need a lot of HP on my Cramorant in order to deal with the other Pokemon there. And I just gonna play this one out, I thought, because, again, I kind of would like to maybe even have the opponent's lead against my Diggersby. And also here I can just catch a Twister on my Diggersby, which is barely doing any damage. As I'm gonna go back into the Marowak, that's totally fine by me. Switchcocks are unlined, which is kind of important. I can go for my Scorching Sense early, which is going to allow me to put them into range for 1 dive, basically. Dive is gonna knock them out straight away. But they're still going to be able to go for 2 charge moves, I think, before I get to my next charge move, because on how their pacing is. So they're very likely just going to get rid of our Diggersby. But now this Pokemon is low. The other Pokemon is at 1 HP. They swap out into that. I just gonna knock them out anyway here with the dive. That's totally fine by me. I think I still had to go for it anyway. Yeah, definitely. And as we will see, there is going to be now the final Pokemon in the bag, which is going to be the Carbink. And that's going to be very tough for us, because now it's down to Mimikyu trying to knock out 2 Pokemon here. They did let the move go through because they know that Dive is not a strong move. Dive is, by the way, really not a strong move. It's 50 damage for 40 energy, and that's why people want to run Surf, because Surf is like more immediate pressure, but it is what it is. It's still better to have, I think, the pacing, to be fair, because you just already have Fly as hard hitting damage and you don't really need Surf for that. Here, I was hoping they would shield the second one as well. That was my only way of really trying to win this battle, because I needed to go for a play rough against the opponent's Carbink. And as you're going to see here, we're not going to be able to go for 2 charge moves. If the opponent somehow just shielded up the other move there as well, we definitely would have been in a bit of a better spot. But it is what it is. We decided to lose the final battle. We didn't hit Legend with this team. I got very close though, and honestly, Cramorant was a fantastic Pokemon. See you then. Bye bye.